Welcome to the Short and Sweet Show. This is go number, okay, for those that are just joining us, these kids in our shop, they're our biggest fans. Anyway, we messed up our first version, so we're starting over. But, tonight we have my friend Chris Dyches.
Hello.
It's Chris.
It's Chris.
And, okay, Chris, I have to tell you, so I have a pretty big contact list for my phone in my car. And anytime I'm like, I need to call Chris, my phone, I think, has a crush on you because, when I say, please call, and I say the name, yours has a southern accent. The lady is in love with you.
So, I've heard that before because you showed it to me, and it says, how does it say it?
Chris Dyches.
And so I'm like, oh my gosh, Siri says my name in this funny way, and I've tried to put it into other people's things, and hey, ask it to call me, and only your phone does that.
Yes, so my car, I think, has a crush on you.
Your car has a crush on me.
And so, yeah, and it will, anytime we call you, my car will be happy.
Well, it's not a big deal.
You don't get that with other people.
Nope. I don't have, that's the only car I know of that likes to say my name like that.
So my Camry
Yeah.
is the only car. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, so we're trying this again, people, but just for those that don't know, how did we meet?
I think it was probably about 20 years ago. Last time Steve said we're not that old, but we are. You had just opened the old shop down on East Street, right?
Yeah.
And I had a friend, his brother lived across the street, and he told us there was this really good chocolate shop that's across the street. We should go over and check it out. So we went in and...
No, what they really said is, oh my gosh, there's this shop that has these little people that are running it. You guys should, we need to tell everybody. So you guys showed up to see the little people.
No, but here's a funny story. The first time we went, we looked in there and like, oh, they're closed. There's nobody in there. And then suddenly I saw Kate's head peer up over the counter. I'm like, oh, there is somebody in there. I think she's a little person.
Well, okay, and we actually joked about that because I said, because you're like, I don't know if people could even see you, if you're in there because they just can't see you behind the cabinets. And I was like, what the hell am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to put a little bike flag on me, and so that people and just walk around so that you have this orange flag just walking behind the cabinets, which is probably still real today. People can't see me.
But Steve went with option B, other than the flag, and that was word of mouth. And he was like, since nobody can see me behind these counters, will you tell people to come in?
I'm pretty loud.
And so what we did is when I was single at the time, we would grab a big group on Wednesday nights. We'd get probably, 30, 40 people. We'd all head down and we'd hang out and we'd eat chocolate and ice cream and hot chocolate and all the great things you have here. And then as the night would wear on, people would eventually leave until it was just the two of us. And Steve used to live right next door to the shop. So then we'd walk over to his shop after he closed and we'd order a pizza and we'd play NBA 2K.
Which you would kill me.
So for the longest time, I had beat Steve so bad that I had to start not trying as hard because I started to feel bad. But Steve kept getting better and better and better until I couldn't beat him anymore.
And I think we probably just bored Kate. So Kate would just give up after
I think that's the
an
reason
hour.
Kate didn't want to be married to anymore. It's too much 2K.
Ouch! There's probably a lot of truth to that. I never put two and two together, but yeah, it went south after the 2K probably.
Sure did. And probably that cat with the bad breath.
Socks.
The snaggletooth.
Hey, Socks. Well, Socks was kind of a badass, and he had a mangled ear, and he was street smart, because he would be sound asleep, and I would bump him. And he would go all ballistic. So I think he was used to the gang fights out on the street. And yeah, he would just attack me.
Rest in peace to Socks.
Yeah, rest in peace to Socks. Or rest in, whatever. But
but we had a lot of those late nights, so playing video games and just hanging out.
So eventually we became friends.
Yeah, and from there we've traveled together. We've gone to all kinds of sporting events together. We're both huge jazz fans, so we go to a lot of jazz games together. Our friendships just continue to evolve to where we're the best bros.
Okay, so well, and we already established we're old, but like forever ago, okay, one of our dreams, and this was when I had play money. I don't have play money anymore, but on one of these occasions, you and I decided to go to a Jazz road trip game to see the Jazz play Boston Celtics.
Yes. And I remember when you called me, you said, hey, do you want to go to the Jazz game on Wednesday? It was like a Monday. And I'm like, they're on the road. Yeah, I know. Do you want to go? I'm like, Steve, we're not going to be able to get tickets. That's in like 3 days. And you're like, no, I'm not asking you any of those questions. I'm asking you, do you want to go? And I'm like, sure.
So we weaseled our way onto a plane.
So we went.
So we got onto a plane, and I still remember, like, sitting on the plane. We were stuck by this lady who, rest her soul, maybe she's passed on too.
Yeah.
But, you know, on the plane ride, you and I are known because, like, if we ever go to restaurants, okay, the number one thing that neither of us like is fish or anything to do with seafood.
No seafood for us.
Yeah, so that's number one on our list of never eating seafood. And so, of course, the lady on the plane was just informing us of all the wonderful things that we can do in Boston, which included about like 100 seafood restaurants.
Yeah, and we were starting to tune her out a little bit because we were like, nah, she doesn't know us.
Yeah.
So we tried to kind of change the subject, and we're like, what's it like there? How are people? I don't think at the time we'd ever been.
No, and she said,
yeah, everybody was rude, and that we should be expect people to be really mean to us and not to take offense because that's just how people in Boston are.
yeah, people are rude. And so, like, that's what we were expecting is rude people that eat a lot of fish.
Yeah.
Or,
And-
like, clam chowder.
Right. So we got there, we were able to eat, and none of it was seafood. And everybody was really nice. Who was the meanest person we met?
It was the lady on the plane that was, she was the meanest person from Boston that we met.
She was the meanest grouch, so.
And I do remember, okay, it was really snowing, like, the day. And so, like, I was kind of like, our flight might not make it because we're going to get, like, snowed out of Boston. And we had ordered, like, it was a step up from an Uber. So I think we had asked for, like, just a black Lincoln.
Yeah.
And I remember when we got there, this huge ass, like,
It was a limo.
it was a stretch limo.
And it had the lights all the way around and free drinks.
And the reason is because all the other limos were snowed in. So they sent us, and they're like, don't worry, we're not charging you the upgrade. We just didn't have any other limos. So this is what you're stuck with on the ride.
Yeah. So we went to the game in luxury in a pimped out limo.
We called up our other friend, and we're like, no, you need to come meet us at the hotel so that you can ride with us to the game.
Yeah.
We'll just meet you at the game. No, literally, you need to come park and pay $20 to park in the parking at the Marriott and then ride with us to the game.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, so we went to the game.
Went to the game, and when you go to places with Steve, the thing you need to know is that Steve goes wherever he wants. Steve doesn't listen to rules.
They're more suggestional.
Yeah. So we get to the garden, and Steve's decided he's going to go down and hang out on the floor before the game.
We had a good reason.
Yeah, Steve wanted to go down and talk to some famous people because that's Steve. I don't know any famous people besides Steve.
I wanted to talk to Ron Boone.
So Ron Boone is a legendary jazz announcer. He's a friend of Steve's.
We were trying to see Shaq.
Yeah. And so we got to the corner where the court begins, and we were with John and Kimmy.
Yep.
John and Kimmy are also little people, and so I was the only average height person in our group.
He was a little person that took hormones.
Yeah. So we come up to the court, and Steve and John and Kimmy just walk on the court. Nobody says a word to them. I get up there, and the security's like, hey, hold on, you can't go on the floor. And I'm like, but I'm with them. And they look at me like, you're not with them. But,
yeah, to hell that. You weren't with us.
But Steve was there to see Shaq, and at the time Shaq was playing for Boston, and however he does it, somehow Steve was able to get us back to see Shaq, and there's a picture of it right here. We got us.
Oh, yeah, and Andre Karolinko. But for Jazz fans, okay, sorry. I'm not saying it was us, but we did see Jerry Sloan after the game, and this was the road trip that started the downfall of Jerry Sloan and Darren Williams. And so on this road trip, they had lost like almost every game up to this point on the road trip, and so like Jerry Sloan was, hey, so did you just move to Boston? Or are you coming to, you just moved here? We're like, no, we flew in just to come watch you play today.
Which the game they lost pretty bad.
It was like at least by 20.
Yeah.
And Shaq wasn't even playing. It was like, the Jazz just got killed.
Yeah.
But so he was apologizing profusely to us about the loss. Darren Williams didn't even come out and talk to us.
No. And I think that Steve gave him some vibes that maybe he didn't want to see Jerry coach anymore. Because what was it like?
No, I didn't give him vibes. In fact, I was kind of like, it's okay, man. Like, we're okay. It was still fun. We had fun watching you lose. And I'm not saying it was us, but I'm not saying it wasn't us. Because then it was like 3 games later is when Jerry called it quits.
That was it.
So, I mean,
about 5 games after that, Darren was...
But to be fair, maybe Jerry sat by that lady on one of the plane trips home.
That's true.
Maybe he just was like, I've had enough. This lady was telling me all kinds of seafood, and I don't like it.
That's fair.
So maybe it wasn't us in the first place.
Maybe,
it was some crazy lady on a plane.
Yeah.
It could have been.
So, so what are we here to talk about today?
Dude, we're just talking. I mean, we're I know that one of your favorite things at our shop is sugar cookies.
Among other things.
No, but this is like your fave.
That is my favorite, yeah.
And you can't eat them like right away. You're supposed to let them cure. So at least 15, 20 minutes, room temperature.
So that one's mine, that one's yours?
Yep, you got it.
All right.
We go by size. So, I mean, these are effing good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
These, kids that are listening, sorry. It's at your own risk. I'm just saying. Okay, Chris, if you really want, here. You can have the real size. You can have the real size cookie.
Awesome.
No, but I mean, I wanted you to come because I think you're really talented. First off, we both love basketball. Mm-hmm. Secondly, you're really into shoes. And you even you custom do it.
Yeah. So, I'm going to tell a little bit about my love for shoes. It started when I was a kid.
We're short and sweet. So is this like an hour-long story?
I'll keep it short and sweet. So the Air Jordan was like the shoe when we were kids. And Jordan had this line of shoes. Every year he'd release one. They'd count them out, 1, 2, 3. The Air Jordan 5 was the first shoe that I ever saw in person. This kid, I remember, Gerald Pennell was his name, and he had a pair of them. They were the 5s. They were the ones with the nets, and they had the silver tongue. And I didn't, at the time, I had no idea that you could buy Jordans for yourself. And I was like, hold on, how did you get those? And so then I decided I was going to get a pair. I saw how much they were, and they're way more expensive than my parents were going to pay for shoes. And so I had to wait until I was old enough and I got my first job. And one of the first things I bought was a pair of Jordans. By then they were up to 10. And that kind of started my love for Jordans. And since then I've collected quite a few. But early on in collecting Jordans, if you wanted some of the old ones, you had to find some that were made back then. They didn't retro them. And one of the problems with them is over time that the paint would fade, it would crack, the midsoles would start to crack out. And so you're trying to find like hardware paint, anything that you could to try and fix these shoes to kind of make them look new again. But the problem was the paint didn't work really well with painting on things that move. And so after you'd paint your shoes, the midsoles would crack again.
Did you learn this by accident, that paint doesn't, paint doesn't work?
I did try a few pair of my own. But then
did you paint your siblings' shoes?
No, just
with the
my own.
shitty paint?
No, but I still do. Actually, I should have brought them. I have a pair of 3s that I used the paint before Angelus paint came out, and they're all cracked out and they're kind of ugly. I still need to fix them. But anyway,
They're retro.
they're retro. Yeah. Well, they came out probably the early 2000s. This pair. They've retroed them several times since. But they used to not do that. So then Angelus Paints came out with a paint that you can put on shoes that has flexible polymers in it that allows it to move. And so what everybody did, all the sneakerheads, that's what we call ourselves, we started buying these
You
old
have a title.
shoes, and we go through and we fix them up and we repaint them and make them look like the old ones when they were brand new. And then pretty soon, Nike started figuring out that if everybody loved those shoes, they were going to retro them and make them again. So then that kind of lost its coolness, but what we figured out with Angela's Paint is that we could paint shoes whatever color we wanted. We could make them custom, we could paint logos, we could do whatever we wanted with them. And so I started getting into it that way with the custom paints. There's a bunch of people on Instagram that I started following. Some of them even work for Nike now as designers.
Wait, let's see. You brought some.
So I brought a few pair. This is a pair I'm in the middle of right now. So this is the Air Jordan 1 mid. This is a Joker colorway. Well, this is what it would look like. This is a pair I'm in the middle of painting. This is just Angela's Paint and some neon colors that I've
So with
custom
black
painted.
light,
Yeah,
does it
so,
pop?
So this will pop with a black light. They make some that'll glow in the dark. And so I'm in the middle of this pair. This other one will match when it's done, but I have a few other pairs that I brought. This is a pair of Roche runs. These came all black. I modeled them after a pair of duck camos that came out probably about 2015 or so. I just painted the same kind of colorway on them, the camo colorway with the orange lacets. So that's all custom.
You know, I bet if Darren Williams had your shoes,
He would have stayed.
yeah, I think his mood would have been a little better.
Makes sense. Maybe I should have presented him with a pair. He never came out of the locker room though.
No,
You remember, right?
I don't even think we saw Boozer.
So this is a pair of sixes. They released a pair of Retro 4. They called them Green Glows. They were gray with this mint color. And the 4s are a different style than this, but I thought, how cool would that be to put that colorway on a pair of 6s? So I took a pair of infrared Jordan 6s, which were all white, and I went through and I painted them with the mint and then the gray. And so you could wear these and they could bend and everything, and the paint will just flex with them, and so you can make your own
Does
shoes.
it give you a scoring advantage wearing these shoes?
Yeah, I actually play better basketball in custom shoes. And that's why the NBA's kind of started to adopt them. At first, they didn't really let anybody wear them because they have all these rules. Did you know
But because your scoring average went up,
the Utah Jazz used to only be allowed to wear white shoes, and that was a Jerry Sloan thing. And Darren Williams, one of the things that probably rubbed Jerry wrong is he wanted to wear black shoes. And Jerry told him, you guys can't wear black shoes unless everybody votes on it and says, yes, they're okay with it. And Darren was able to get the whole team to vote yes on the black shoes, but it used to be this thing where, like, you had to wear the same shoes, and the league has gotten way looser on those rules. The NFL was still pretty strict. They've kind of started to allow you to wear the custom cleats too, but it's evolved into this big thing. Like even Nike now will allow you to go on their website and have this. Not every shoe is on there, but a lot of the shoes they make these Nike IDs. This is a pair of Air Trainers.
wait, do they glow in the dark?
Yeah, these soles will glow in the dark. These are some I made a couple years ago. I don't think the Air Trainer is available right now, but I did them in the Yeezy colorway with the infrared sock liner and the green glow in the dark soles, and they all black. So you can hop on there. Sometimes they'll put cool stuff. Like right now, they're giving limited access to people to do dunks.
Facebook or anything else? Twitter?
Christopher Dyches on Facebook. It'll be tagged in the video. So,
All right. Dude, look at you, like, thinking ahead. So, Chris, I know that, we are, like, best friends, but when you come to our shop, the whole reason I want to do this is I figured that everybody has a really cool story, and I love your story, and I'm hoping that other people will enjoy it also.
okay, thank you. Yeah, I've been coming here for a lot of years, and it started out with bringing friends, but it's kind of become like a gathering place. It's a great place to come and hang out. The chocolate's great. The cookies are great. Steve's always adding things. I used to, when I was single, I'd bring dates here all the time. Now I'm married. My wife loves coming here. She loves the chocolate caramel covered apples. She loves the Aztec caramels.
Wait, you told me she's big on shoes.
No.
No, she totally likes shoes.
So she thinks that she does like running shoes. We have a lot of those. But she thinks it's really hilarious when we go out in public and people recognize my shoes.
Okay, Chris, wait, reach behind you. Okay, like I know they're not decked out as much as your shoes,
These
but
are
I
a
think
custom shoe, though.
Erin can probably run in those. Like, I mean, she's gonna.
probably could.
It's gonna be like 1 or 2 toes probably.
Yeah. Who custom made this shoe?
I think that was Matt, one of our chocolatiers. Matt did an amazing job on our shoes.
Did he use Angelus paint? Can you eat this paint?
Yeah, you can eat that paint.
All right.
But I don't think it's whatever the hell you were saying. That and it's Matt's
It's
paint.
edible paint.
It's
All right.
Matt's paint.
Wow, that's awesome.
So yeah, you can take that.
Okay.
Pass it on.
I will.
Anyways, Chris, thanks for coming.
I appreciate it.
If you guys want to be a guest, hit me on a DM. It's Steve. Steve Hatch Family Chocolates, Chocolatized SLC. I don't know. You just find me. You can figure it out. Or come sit and join us live. Anyways, I think we're done.
All right.
We avoided the banana.
We sure did. Chocolate covered bananas right up there behind you. Steve has some pretty cool murals on the wall if you ever want to come in here and check them out. They might look like something other than chocolate covered bananas, but
It's a frozen frickin' banana. That's all. Okay? It's a banana. Okay. Anyways, peace out.